We got a big day. We have a very special guest in studio with us. We have Jud Damon, who's been on the radio show back in the day and with Mike and I, and you've been on the air with Mike, but I think it's your first time with us on Bollox this evening.
It is.
So welcome in, Jud.
Thanks.
I know you guys are getting cranked up with some of your sports stuff. You are the athletic director at Flagler College. How long have you been at that position now?
17 years.
17
Wow.
years. Yeah, I remember when you came in, so
Yes.
I might be showing my age slightly. So does it feel like 17 years?
No, not at all. I feel like I just got started.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the things I've loved and probably made me stay is because I feel like there's a really high ceiling at Flagler. We could do some great things, and it continues to be that way. If I felt like the ceiling was getting lowered, I probably would have taken off, but it's still, you know, it's just really energizing over there and great atmosphere.
Well, and I found out something just last week from a mutual friend that Louis Tiant, Dan's dad, coached at SCAD when you were at SCAD.
That's true.
So, and who was the basketball coach?
Cassie Russell.
Cassie Russell. So you had Cassie Russell and Louis Tiant.
That's right.
On your coaching staff.
That's right.
That is wild.
Well, it was unbelievable because so my first AD job, I was also a baseball coach.
Okay.
At Trinity International University, South Florida campus in Miami.
Okay.
So that was back in the late 90s. In 2000, I got the AD job at Savannah College of Art and Design. And Louis Tiant, I mean, I grew up in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Louis Tiant, I mean, we were in the backyard pretending we were Louis.
Yeah.
You know, in every pickup, you know, every sandlot baseball game and wiffle ball game we ever played. I'm Louis Tiant. He won 2 games in the 75 World Series, 19 years in the major leagues. And, of course, Cassie Russell, unbelievable New York Knicks world champion. And, I mean, amazing. So I walked in there, I was 33 years old, and I was the AD, and these guys were on the staff there. And I was a little starstruck at first, but I tell you, the Tiants, what a wonderful, wonderful family. And beyond just his stardom and what a great career Louis had. Yeah. I mean, just wonderful people, and I love them.
I mean, and Dan was with us last night. We were out last night, but I've known you for 17 years.
Yeah, that's right.
And I've known Dan since he's been here, and you know, we become close friends. And he's been on the show several times. And he said, "Oh yeah, my dad coached." I was like, "With Jud?" He's like,
right.
"Yeah." So
that's true. That's true. Yeah. It was great experience for me.
Yeah. So, and you were 33, and you have 2 sports legends that now you're the boss over, but kind of not really the boss over.
Well,
you're the boss. You were the boss. You were the boy boss. I'm sure they were like, "You're the boy boss."
I'll tell you, the first week I was there, the staff took us out. We went out to lunch.
Is that you?
How do
I can't be. Is that my phone? That's John Delaney, President John Delaney, speaking to me on speakerphone.
Tell him you're busy. You'll get back to him. That's
Sorry,
all,
boss.
Mr. President. Exactly.
I thought it was yours, Lenny. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Isn't he up and people move in? It's a little early yet. Yeah.
I better put this up here. Well, anyway, so Louis, unfortunately, it didn't work. He didn't have a lot of competitive success there. And after my first year there, which was his 4th year, I made a change. And Louis Jr., Dan's brother, was the assistant coach. And so we parted ways. And I'm telling you, I got more phone calls and emails from my friends in New England saying, "Don't bother coming back." Because we love Louis. And it was okay. And, you know, Dan, I was so happy that he reached out to me a couple of years ago here, and we talked about things, and he's just a wonderful person. And you know, my first year there when Louis was there, he and his family had me and my family over to his house for New Year's Eve, and just open doors. And
they're a great family, and you know, I feel very fortunate. I got to know Louis before he passed.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and got to become such good friends with Dan, and you know, went out and taken BP with Gia, his daughter, and so it's been a fun getting to know them and friendship. But that I just kind of was caught off guard, like, what? Wait, I've known Jud for
That's right.
I never knew that.
So we go back. Yeah, I go back 26 years with the Tiants, and and Kazi, he's at Flagler.
Is he now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's been the special assistant to the head coach for our women's team for about 7 years now.
No, I think I knew that because I met him at one of the Garnet and
Not Garnet.
Oh, sorry.
Crimson and Gold.
Crimson and Gold, not Garnet and Gold.
Garnet's over in Tallahassee.
That's someplace else.
I'm a Flagler grad. I should get that one right.
Come on.
I should get that one right. So,
Jud, let me ask you a question before we get into Flagler. Well, first of all, SCAD, sports teams?
Yeah, I know.
I mean that seems to be, excuse my ignorance and, presumption, but that seems like a tough sell for kids that are going to art and design and they're, creative majors. Not to say that creative people can't necessarily play ball. However, it's probably a tough class to recruit from, or how did that work?
It's interesting. It was fascinating for me too. When I learned about, I knew about them actually because when I was at Trinity in Miami, I was coaching baseball and we played SCAD. And Louis that's the first time I met Louis, and he took the team down to Miami and we played him. And I was amazed. I was like, wow, this place is incredible. But I learned about SCAD is a fascinating place. So their former president,
it's a great town.
Yeah, and he was a visionary. When he started the college, he and his wife's parents started the Savannah College of Art and Design in 78, 79. And he said, yeah, let's be big time in sports. And so he was on the path to do that. And he said, I'm going to hire Kazi Russell. And he got Louis Tion. And he was like, wow, that was the direction SCAD was going at the time, and utilizing athletics as one other, kind of marketing branch for the institution. And it worked. I mean, that got us on the map.
Yeah. So,
it's a way to make a statement, when you bring in names like that to start your programs.
Oh, yeah. It was great.
So when you left SCAD to come to St. Augustine, to come to Flagler College, what was the tiebreaker that's like, okay, I'm moving my family, we're going to St. Augustine. What was the tiebreaker between those two? Because I see those schools very parallel.
Yeah.
So there had to be a tiebreaker.
Well,
so what was the tiebreaker?
Well, I had to stop in between. I left SCAD to go to Georgia College.
Okay.
In Milledgeville,
then it was
Georgia.
an easy decision.
So I could tell at SCAD it was time to move on. There was some changes in the leadership, and they started putting kind of layers in between the AD and the president. And so I wasn't having the same access with the president, which you can't run an athletics program like that. You have to be in close communication with the president. So I was like, it's time to go. And Kazi, he was advising me, he's like, hey, they want us to be good, but they don't want us to be that good, and so I was like,
there's a balance of being good.
They don't want to be known for athletics, because the president who started that and hired Kazi and Louis, well, he and his wife split up, and the wife became the president, and she didn't have the same vision. So I went to Georgia College for a year, and while we were there, I told my wife, I was like, it's just right up the road in Georgia. It's going to same. You love Savannah. You'll love it up there. But Middle Georgia is a lot different than being on the coast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we lived in a very small town outside of Milledgeville. People haven't even heard of Milledgeville, but we lived in a little town called Gray, Georgia, and I loved it. And I loved Georgia College, but it wasn't her cup of tea. And when Flagler's situation opened up, and they were contacting me, she said, please, can we go to St. Augustine? Please, we want to go to St. Augustine. So I was like, yeah. And
a lot of similarities, I would think, between SCAD and Flagler. I think SCAD is probably a little bit larger than Flagler, but you're both in historic cities. There's a great integration between the school and the community, because SCAD owns a tremendous amount of property in Savannah. So
yes, and it's grown so much. I mean, they have a SCAD Atlanta now. They have a SCAD Lacoste in Lacoste, France.
Wow.
So they've got 15,000 students. Their official first year was 1979. So they're 11 years younger than Flagler.
Yeah.
But they just had this this mindset that we were going to boom, and they went after it. And so they acquired all these properties in, as you've noted, in downtown St. Augustine, and refurbished them, repurposed them.
Savannah, yeah.
I'm sorry, Savannah.
Yeah.
Well, Flagler's doing that here too.
There's been a lot. There's been a lot less of it though in St. Augustine. In Savannah, I mean, there was a clash.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And
they fought it, and SCAD won, and then the city realized this is good for downtown. It revitalized downtown.
Well,
Savannah.
And I want to get to Flagler now. You're the athletic director at Flagler. You replaced Dave Barnett, who replaced Dan Stewart, who replaced Darwin White. All right. Did you have a relationship with Mr. White? Did it go back that far? Because a lot of those guys were still there.
Right.
When you were there. So it's like, oh, don't do this while you're here. You had guys that were kind of like, hey, ask me if you need anything.
It's true.
You know, and I'm friends with Dave and Dan, and I just didn't know if you went all the way back to Darwin.
Well, I got to know Darwin when I got here,
Okay.
and of course loved him. What a special man he was. And but I knew Dan well because he was the commissioner of the Florida Sun Conference, and when SCAD left Division III while I was there and joined the NAIA, we joined the Florida Sun Conference, and we were in the same conference with Flagler for a few years before Flagler went D2. And I knew Dave because I had been baseball coach and AD. And so Dave and I went back, back to the late, mid 90s or so. So I knew both of them, and I talked to them a lot before coming here. And, by the time I got to Flagler, I'd already been, a college AD for 12 years, and I had a clue about what I was doing, but they were resources, and they were there for me and helped me and encouraged me and helped me understand the landscape at Flagler, because every institution is a little bit different. Yeah.
Because when you came here, you stopped being a baseball coach.
Yeah, I stopped when I got to SCAD.
You stopped when you got to SCAD.
Yeah.
How was that transition? Because I still have an itch as a coach and I haven't coached in 35 years. I still have an itch of, oh man, I think I could help here or there. Yeah. How did that transition going from coach to administrator?
Well, I thought that I would miss it very much like that. I loved, but I think I found that one of the top things that I loved about being a baseball coach was team building, and the vision casting and saying, hey, you got an organization, here's where we're starting from, here's where we're going to get, and trying to get people to get there. And you do that in any organization, any business you might have, or with an athletics program. And so I'm still team building, and I like that. And still casting a vision, but the getting to know the student athletes is different. Like when you're a coach, the relationships can be so close, and you're making such a deep impact on them. Now I really have to work hard to make sure because I love that. I love getting to know the student athletes, and it's ultimately why I do it. I want to hire coaches who want to impact their lives in a great way. And, but I still want to get to know them and hopefully do that. That I've missed that, but the actual baseball, no, I'm okay with that. I played and I coached for a long time.
And I agree. I think that's the part, because I tell people all the time, the best title is dad. And the second best title is coach.
Yeah.
And that's not because of the wins and losses. It's because of the relationships that are built. And, that's the one thing I've loved about Flagler. Dave, I think I was Dave's. Dave says I was his second recruit. I say I was his first recruit because, I was the only one that mattered. And then I became friends with them after, because I stayed in St. Augustine. And so many, not just athletes, but students from Flagler stay in St. Augustine and have made such a huge impact on our community. How do you help shape that athlete to citizen to make a difference?
Well, I mean, we absolutely hope that we're doing that. And so a big part of that for me is hiring the right people. I mean, I feel a weight on me when I'm hiring a coach, that a coach is going to have an impact on an athlete's life. It can be bad.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody's ever had a bad coach who demoralized them, a coach can have a bad impact on a kid's life and can have a great impact. So one way or another, there's not really going to be a neutral thing. A coach is going to make a difference in an athlete's life. So I think about that when I'm hiring them, and I try to do the best I can. I certainly haven't been perfect on it, and I've made some mistakes, but for the most part, I've done well with that, and I think that's why I've been able to be an AD for a while. It's that is in the front of my mind when I'm hiring coaches. That what if this was my kid playing for this coach, and what would I want them to? And I always, every coach I ever interview, I ask them, why do you coach? And if somewhere in their answer isn't, I want to make a difference in the lives of my athletes, then I know they're not going to be a good fit in our organization.
Well, and I don't know if it was easy or hard. You had some longtime coaches when you came in. You had Coach Clark, and you had Dave, and you had Walter Shin, and I'm leaving out,
Taylor Mott,
Taylor
John
Mott,
Lynch.
yeah, you John Lynch. You had very established coaches when you first got here.
Yes.
Did that help because you didn't have the pressure of, I have to hire a high profile person right away, or was it okay? It's kind of had that me against them feeling when you first started?
I didn't feel. I felt a lot of support when I first started. It's kind of like a coach, like like a baseball coach. In the fall season, all the players love him, but then in the spring, he's writing out lineup cards, and somebody's not playing.
It's making a difference.
And so, once I started making decisions, and some maybe didn't agree with the decisions,
feel right.
Then they said, well, that's not how we've always done it. Then it became challenging. But they were very experienced, and there were some very successful coaches that were already here in place when I got here. And I'd say there was good and bad to that, but there was a culture in the program that that needed some adjusting. It wasn't bad. It wasn't negative. It was just, I don't think there was a belief that we could be excellent. We could be great. We can be nationally competitive in everything we're doing. I remember in the first staff meeting I had, I said, we're going to be the best athletics program in Division II. And I thought, hey, they're going to stand up and cheer when I say that. And they just like, yeah, right. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's crazy. This is Flagler. We don't have any money. We don't have any scholarships.
We got 4 scholarships. We got 28 people.
Well, it's my job. I always looked at it as my job is hiring the right coaches, but getting them the resources, getting the right tools in their tool belt to be successful. You got to have scholarships. You got to have enough staffing. You got to have operating budgets to make the experience great, and you got to have good facilities that are going to attract student athletes. And it's my job to try to get those resources for the programs. And then I told them my expectations are always going to align with the resources. I understand that we don't have the resources that we'd like to have right now, but we're going to get them. And when we do, the expectations are going to rise also.
Yeah. My visitation at Flagler, it was the field where it is right now. All right. No dugouts.
Right.
We literally had benches. We stepped over a fence about the size of this table, and we ran on the field. In left field, we had huge metal grates, storm grates. And at one point, I was
in
going
the field
back,
of play.
In the field of play.
Don't wear spikes.
Ask Dave about this. I was going back for a ball. I was playing left field one game, going back for a ball, and my cleats got into the metal grate, and I almost looked like a torpedo head first into the fence. Dave thought I was dead. Dave thought I was dead. I bounced up, and I was mad because I didn't get the ball. Okay. But that's the field, and what the community came behind Flagler. Now I came in under Dr. Proctor. Were you under Dr. Proctor, or were you under Dr. Hebert when you first got here?
Dr. Hebert. But I got to know Dr. Proctor very well because he was chancellor.
Yeah. So we had Dr. Proctor, Dr. Hebert, Dr. Joyner, and now John Delaney, all men of great character. That has to make your job easier.
Oh, I just this afternoon before I came over here, I was saying to our men's tennis coach, Jonas People, who just won the national championship.
Yeah.
There was an issue that came up today, and I said, it is so great to have such an outstanding boss. Like when stuff, when there's difficulties, not only is he really smart, but he's got your back. And he's just so, and it's been a blessing. And that was one of the things, honestly, that attracted me to Flagler. I knew Dr. Hebert. I had heard of Dr. Proctor, and I knew how the college was run with integrity, and it was just, I really wanted to be in an atmosphere where there was, you knew that you just felt good about the organization. Everybody's not going to see everything exactly the same. I don't mean that, but it's going to be run with integrity. And Dr. Hebert hired me, and I'm forever grateful to him. I loved working for him. I loved working for Dr. Joyner, and I love working for John Delaney. Yeah. So it's great.
Yeah, and Dr. Hebert will still show up at trivia nights with him and his son Bill, and they'll come to trivia nights. And I had the privilege. I had the privilege of being in the last class that Dr. Hebert and Dr. Proctor taught. They co-taught it together.
Really?
It was test and measurements. It was 8 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. In college, 8 a.m. classes, which as athletes, we had to take those morning classes. But those are the worst. Yes. And when you're, that time the president and vice president of the school are teaching the class,
you better show up.
You had to be there. You had to be there, especially as an athlete. So you had to be there. What is one of the major things that has changed the most? Because I want to get to we're eating up time because it's going so great. No, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
That means we're doing a good job. What is one of the major things in your 17 years from Flagler to now that makes you proud?
That's a very nice question. Thank you. It's really gratifying to achieve some goals like this past year, winning the national championship in men's tennis. It had been 40 years since Flagler College had won a national championship. It was the first national championship we won in the NCAA era. I'm proud of that because I know how much work it took to get there. I'm really proud of the culture in the department. Whatever organization, business or otherwise you have, it's made up of people, so it's going to be imperfect, but it's really great. I want a place where people love coming to work every day. Like I love being there, and there's energy and enthusiasm, and I
gotta get better at that. Lenny comes in kicking and screaming. I gotta rope him in the parking lot. It's painful. So I gotta get better at that.
Well,
I'm slightly passionate about certain things. What can I say?
It really makes a difference. People have, and I'll give you just a glimpse. Talking about being passionate, like Jonas, who I referenced earlier. I gave this little speech to our staff one time, and I said, some people have jobs, and some people have careers. Some people have passions. And if we're in this line of work, you gotta have a passion because we're not getting rich, but we gotta love what we're doing because we gotta give a lot. You're working most every weekend, you're working lots of nights, and you gotta love it. You gotta have a passion for it. After the meeting was over, Jonas says, that was a good speech. He's got Swedish. He sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. He goes, that was a good speech, but you missed one stage. And I said, what's that? He said, mission. I'm on a mission to win a national championship here. We are going to win. And I was like, okay, well, 2 years later, he won the national championship.
There you go.
So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the culture we built. I'm proud of the growth we've had in the scholarships. When I got here, we had 49 scholarships for the whole athletic department.
Wow.
We have 110 now. Okay. We had 13 full-time employees. We have 42 now. And so we've made a lot of facility improvements, built the tennis locker rooms. We built the baseball, softball, men's and women's soccer locker rooms out there. We've just put in big video scoreboards at all our facilities. And so we've made a lot of facility improvements to try to make the experience better, but it's all been built on our core values. We call our core covenants.
Mhm.
accountability, integrity, professionalism, sportsmanship, and teamwork. And we build everything off that. And it's not lip service. We really try to operate like that.
You also expanded the programs too. You brought in a couple of new sports. You brought in women's lacrosse,
Yeah.
3 years ago?
5 now.
That long, man,
Yeah.
time flies when I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, men's and women's lacrosse, men's and women's outdoor track and field, and men's and women's indoor track and field. So 6 sports since I've been here.
Where do they do the indoor?
Well, they train here like they do for everything else. We use St. Augustine High School and train out there, but we run the meets over in Gainesville, University of Florida, and up in North Carolina. University of North Carolina hosts indoor meets there.
Because
All right, Lenny, I want you, because we gotta let him go soon. But I want you to hear this.
We
Yes,
can't
I want you to hear this story, because I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this story of the tennis team 2 years ago. The same. I want you to tell the story about the young man in the finals 2 years ago and in the finals this year. So
we
I
got
need you to tell this story, because it's.
Well, we got to the national championship match in 2024 against Valdosta State. And in college tennis, you have 3 doubles matches that go on, and whichever team wins 2 out of the 3 doubles matches gets 1 point. And then you have 6 singles matches. So there's 6 possible points there. So the first team to 4 points wins the match. So we got down to where the match was tied 3-3, and it came down to the last singles match, number 6 singles. We had a freshman playing for us, and he was playing against a 50-year senior from Valdosta State. And we split the first 2 sets, went to the third set, and I think we were our guy was up 3-1 in the third set, but then had full body cramps, and he could hardly move, and he's battling out there, and ended up losing the match 6-3. He was on the court, and it was heartbreaking. We were this close to the national championship. And fast forward to 2026, that same kid, it comes down. We're playing Barry for the national championship. Mind you, we played Barry every year since 1994. We beat them in 1994 and never beat them since. So we're playing them. They've won 7 national championships. We've never won one. They're undefeated this season. We're playing them. Comes down to the match is tied 3-3. It comes down to the same kid's match. He's a junior now. They split sets in the first 2 sets. They go to a third set. It's 6-all in the third set. So the third set goes to a tiebreaker, and this kid's on court, and he pulls it out and wins it for the national championship. And it was, people were just crying.
Oh.
It was incredible story. If it were,
And he's such a good kid.
He's from Egypt.
Such
Ali
a
El
good
Rafi.
kid. Just
Wonderful. But they all are, and we're really proud of that. There are a lot of great stories, and I feel like in Division II and at Flagler College, we're doing college sports the right way, and we're not in that where we don't have an NIL collective where we're paying kids $100,000, but we're losing kids to places that are doing that all the time.
In Division II.
Oh,
yeah. Wow.
It's changed. It's changed college athletics, and personally, I don't think for the better.
I agree.
So,
I agree. And we've had to get past that stage of being disappointed that it is the way it is,
right?
And we just have to adapt and adapt better than our competitors. So that's what we're trying to do. And,
it must make recruiting a challenge.
Yes.
But then you also have St. Augustine in your pocket.
That's
so
right.
that certainly does help a lot of cases, I would think.
Well, it's true. Every school has its built-in competitive advantages and disadvantages when it comes to recruiting. So like at SCAD, you mentioned it must have been hard to recruit there. Well, when you found a kid who was interested in art and design and was a good athlete, where else is he going to go?
Yeah,
it's perfect.
It's the right fit.
Right.
Yeah, you just had to find. And RISD doesn't have sports.
That's why I was surprised to hear that SCAD did. Honestly,
right. So you got that kid. We were getting kids drafted out of the baseball program. We got a kid drafted in the 3rd round out of SCAD with the Yankees. We had a kid made it up to the big leagues with the Red Sox out of SCAD, knuckleballer, Wakefield taught him how to throw knuckleballs.
It does help.
That's what you learn from. Yeah,
It does help when we.
It was.
you can't find a necro.
But at Flagler, yeah, we absolutely location's a big part of it. And St. Augustine's a big part of the cell.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Blake worked in the athletic department for a while. I went through it to Blake. He hasn't jumped in on any of the questions. Blake, you have any questions for Mr. Damon?
Yeah, I definitely have to ask right now because Division II is because we over the summer we heard the stuff about Division I eligibility. The eligibility clock has changed now, and actually now the Division II now has the same rules as Division I, where it's a maximum of 5 years now, and it basically eliminates the red shirts. Can you go into more detail about that, and what does it mean for Flagler Athletics as well?
That's right. And what a great question, Blake. And I wish I had Matt Green, our director of compliance, here with me, because interpreting the NCAA rule changes is difficult. But yes, it was actually on the legislative agenda for the Division II convention in January. And the Division I brought a lot of pressure to bear for D2 not to pass the 5 years before they did.
Mm-hmm.
And they won, so it got tabled, and then D1 did it, and now D2 did emergency legislation 2 weeks ago, and so we have this age-based eligibility where it's 5 years. Your clock starts the first term that you're a full-time student, and that you have 5 years to play, or the first term in which after your 19th birthday. Mm-hmm. So there's no more of these medical waivers, red shirt stuff. You got 5 years, and if you get injured, you don't get to play that year, but you still have to be done in 5 years. So so
University of Indiana's football team would have been eliminated last year.
It's so difficult because whatever the NCAA does, it gets brought. They sue it. They sue the NCAA. Right. Somebody does and says that rule harms me. And then I don't know if the NCAA has ever won a court case. I mean, they lose every time. And so, so then it leaves everything in flux and people don't know exactly, am I going to be eligible? I'm not. Do I have a fifth year now? And there's some confusion about that D1 level right now. But we had to go through, and Matt Green and others went through we have 425 student athletes at Flagler. They went through every single situation and said, would it be best? Where are they on the on the 1, 2, first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year? Would it behoove them to take this fifth year? Should they stay? Could they stay? Would they have another year if they stayed next year?
And my question with this is, European schools are different. Mm-hmm. How is that recognized? Because we do have a lot of European players on the soccer team and tennis team and stuff like that. How is that recognized with this new rule?
What a good question. Well, they're on student visas, and they can only be here 4 years.
Okay.
So they don't, even if they're allowed a fifth year, they can't have it.
They can't do it.
They can't do it under their student visa. That's my understanding.
Yeah, one thing we didn't get to, but you guys are moving conferences.
Yes, sir.
Right.
And
exciting.
It's exciting stuff. It makes for a better fit from my eyes, because we still played teams in that conference when I was playing ball there. Oh, yeah. I mean, we played Eckerd and we played St. Leo and we played Tampa and we played all those guys.
Yes.
Does it feel like that's the right conference where you guys are supposed to be?
Yeah, that's where we're supposed to be. We should be. I do know, it's considering the way that Flagler was funded, if the athletics program was funded, it was probably a good thing we didn't go in until now. But now's the time. Mm-hmm. It's the right time. And
so you can compete.
Yeah, I mean, the Sunshine State Conference, we're moving from the Peach Belt Conference to the Sunshine State Conference. The Sunshine State Conference is the most competitive conference in Division II in the country. They by far have more national championships than any other conference. I think this past year they won 8 or 9 national championships out of that conference. Mm-hmm. They are very, very strong. They fund their programs well. But yeah, on the surface, it really looks like we align much better with them. They're all private schools, all in Florida. Mm-hmm. Their cost of attendance very similar to Flagler's. I mean, we were the only private school in the Peach Belt Conference and the only Florida school in the Peach Belt Conference.
Mhm.
So this makes a lot more sense. But at the time that we joined the Peach Belt Conference, and we don't need to go into that whole story, but we kind of looked more like a Peach Belt school in terms of cost of attendance. Flagler always had a very low cost of attendance and looked more like a public school cost of attendance than it did Rollins College or Lynn University or Nova. So, and they were funded, they were providing a lot more in terms of scholarships and staffing for their athletics program than Flagler was at the time. But now we're on a level playing field with them.
So who all is in the Sunshine? I mean, I named some of them.
There's Barry University in Miami, Nova Southeastern, Lynn University, Florida Tech, Embry-Riddle, St. Leo, Rollins, Eckerd, Tampa, Palm Beach Atlantic. Will be the 12th school. I don't know if I named them all, but
yeah. No, I mean, it's very competitive.
Yes.
Very competitive athletically.
Outstanding.
So,
But it should be able to set up some new rivalries that, should make it a little bit more interesting.
or bring some back.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And enable, the student body, either theirs or ours, to go to and be supportive of the games, because you don't have to go to the middle of Georgia.
That's right.
You don't have to go 6 hours away.
Yes, that's very true. And the student body is going to be more familiar with these
Right.
schools. So when they're playing them at home, they're going to come out, oh, they're playing Rollins. I'm from that area.
Right.
Yeah,
I want to go see
right.
us play Rollins. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be good for the rivalries and for the, the support locally. And
Well, and one of the things at Rollins that happened at Rollins is Flagler hasn't had an all-star in Major League Baseball, but we did have an all-star in a Pro Bowler in football. And it was because of an injury he happened at Flagler playing in Rollins, and Scott Player was playing first base, hyperextended his arm, and he was on scholarship at Flagler, and then became a Pro Bowl punter for Florida State, and then went on and played with the Cardinals and had a nice long football career. But that happened at Rollins. Funniest part of this is the guy who was hitting third and playing second base for Rollins, guess what his name was? Swear this is God's honest truth. Harry Ball.
is that right? That's an interesting name, Troy.
What dad does that to his son? So
Well,
call him Hank. Don't call him Hank. Call him Hank.
Right.
do you know who Flagler's the only Flagler graduate who's an NFL player?
Uh-huh.
Do you know who that was?
I don't know.
I mean, you're a Flagler alum. You should know that.
I don't know who this is. I might know him, but
You might know him. Marco Coleman.
oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So Marco, he was
graduated.
played 14 years in the NFL, and he played on the Georgia Tech national championship team in 91.
Uh-huh.
And he came down and he was our guest speaker for the Crimson and Gold banquet. And we're sitting at the table and he's like, yeah, I never finished at Georgia Tech. And I was like, well, why don't you
Come
finish
back.
finish at Flagler?
Yeah.
So
That's
he
pretty
got
funny.
his degree.
I never knew he graduated.
Yeah,
from
he
here.
got his degree from Flagler College.
I know who he is.
And
I
we'll
don't
take
know
it.
him.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and the other thing is, if I could make the announcement here, this will be the first public announcement. Speaking of our Crimson and Gold, so we do this great event every year, the Crimson and Gold banquet, and then the next morning we do the President's Golf Classic, and it's the most important 24 hours of fundraising we do. And so Doug Flutie was our speaker last year. We've had Coach Spurrier.
He's been here a couple times.
Twice. He's the only one we've had twice.
Yeah.
And we've had Coach Spurrier, Coach Bowden, Bob Stoops. We have a lot of big names, Ken Griffey Sr. And Mark Burnell, a lot of them. Well, this year our speaker is going to be Cassie Russell.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm just really excited about this past year. He played at the University of Michigan. Michigan won the national championship. He played for the New York Knicks when they won it.
I remember
the
that.
Knicks won the NBA championship this year. So it's a perfect time for us to feature Cassie. And he is a special human being. He's going to do a great job.
I like the fact that Flagler lets St. Johns County residents go to the sporting events for free. So a bunch of years ago, I went to a couple of the basketball games, and I don't remember who you were playing, but, I'm looking, I'm going, that man looks very familiar. And it was Cassie Russell walking in, and I'm going,
Wow.
that impressed me.
Yeah. No, one game, Cassie, I think it was Cassie's first year here. He called up Artis Gilmore and Sam Jones, and so all three of them were in the gym at one time, and it was very cool. Here at Little Flagler College, and we got these legends.
Here's my question. Did you shake hands with artists?
Oh yeah.
Were you prepared?
Well, I had met him before.
Okay,
and
because I've told this story on air before. Were you prepared?
Well, I was prepared the second time.
Okay, the second time.
When I played golf with him, so that has been a couple of years before that, and somebody took a picture of us arm in arm on the green over at Slammer and Squire. I sent the picture to my daughters, who were they were younger at that time, maybe 10, 12 years old. And they said, "Daddy, that's a real giant." I put my arm around him, and it's on his belt. You know,
he is a real giant.
Yeah, but what a sweetheart. And yeah, so a lot of the former NBA players come and they'll pop in the gym sometimes. Kazi's there. Bob McAdoo was there one time, and we've had a lot of them. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. came to the gym last fall. He was there.
Junior?
Junior.
Did he bring his camera?
Well,
because he's a photographer now.
He was there because he was close friends with the opponent's coach.
Okay.
It was for a volleyball match. I don't know if his daughter might have played volleyball for Lander University. I can't remember, but he was in our gym and I missed it. I didn't get to meet him.
Well, Senior came and spoke, and at that time, I was working with Cool from Cool and the Gang and their brother-in-laws.
That's
so and so like I didn't make it. I had something going on. I couldn't make it to the dinner, but then Cool and Senior came over to the Casa Monica and met me there because I couldn't make it. And we just had a great time. Just a wonderful guy.
This is a true story. You know, people question whether or not Troy's stories are true or not. This is a true story because I went over to the Casa Monica to get Ken Griffey Sr. to take him into the Ponce for the event. And he said, "Do you mind if I bring my friend along?" And I said, "Oh, I'm not going to say no." Right. Like, who is that? He goes, "This is Cool." I said, "Cool."
Yeah.
Did I hear you right? He goes, "Yeah, Cool. You know, Cool in the Gang?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
So Cool came to the event too, and I got their picture up on the wall. I got my picture taken with those guys, and it's in the wall in my office. But that's great.
No. So I mean, I got to meet him. I couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't go to the dinner. I had something going on, but Cool was like, "Hey, just come over here," and he knew I was a Reds fan.
Okay.
Because we've been together for a couple of years, and he's like, Ken's here. Okay. I didn't know who Ken was.
Right.
I
really?
I was like, Ken. Right. I'm a huge big Red machine.
Way to bury the lead, right?
Yeah. Well, we're trying to get Junior to come and be our speaker at some point, but the fact that his dad was a speaker here didn't make him more inclined to come. I don't know why. I was like, "Come on, it'd be great."
Yeah.
We'll see.
So no, I love the story when they talk about like he couldn't hit in front of his dad. Like he didn't get a hit. He didn't get a hit in front of his dad until he was in pro ball. Like every time his dad came to the game, he'd go over.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and it's really funny, and the story of them hitting back to back is just always, it's a legend.
Oh yeah, unbelievable.
So, Jud, thank you so much for coming in, man.
It's my
Good luck.
pleasure.
Good
Absolutely,
luck in your transition.
Yep.
We'll let you call back the president there.
Thank you. Well, he got on the air, free publicity. Thanks to you guys.
Tell him he's welcome to come in. He doesn't have to call in on your phone. He's allowed to come in.
He knows that, but we're proud of all he's done. He's done an incredible job as president. Yeah. We have been lucky to have great leadership at Flagler.
Well, you have such wonderful people there. I mean, I sit on the TDC board with Beth Sweeney.
Yeah.
And she's such a brilliant woman. You guys have done such a good job of hiring at Flagler. I know Blake's proud to be a graduate. I'm proud to be a graduate. I mean, anybody who gives me a degree,
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
A pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.